the coaching carousel has finally gotten rolling. Kind of similar to what you see in the NFL, where a team gets eliminated in the wild card or divisional round, and then, okay, here goes the coordinator to here or there. This a little different. The lateral moves are kind of up in terms of job prestige. Just a few that I had marked down. Ben McCollum going from Drake to Iowa. Tough for Drake. Back-to-back years, they are losing their head coach. Nico Medvedev, what an incredible run Colorado State had. They were, 3.1 seconds away from a Sweet 16. He is heading from Colorado State to Minnesota. And Darian DeVries, he is heading from West Virginia to Indiana. More on that in a moment. Will Wade, I didn't have this written down, but just because it, slipped my mind. But Will Wade, he is heading from McNeese State to NC State. Tough look for McNeese out in the tournament. And then one that just flashed up, through on my purview like 15 minutes ago, and maybe nationally won't make a ton of waves. But Josh Pastner, he is taking over at UNLV. And Josh Pastner, for me personally, it's been a while since I've heard that name. You might remember him. He was he took over the Memphis program after John Calipari headed to Kentucky. And my question always was Josh Pastner a good coach, or was he just at the right place at the right time, kind of enjoying the Coach Cal recruiting exploits without the modern day transfer portal? But we'll see. UNLV bringing in Josh Pastner. But as I said, more on that Darian DeVries move. Some drama behind that. Obviously, it's been a tough week or two for West Virginia basketball. They get left out of the tournament when they probably should have been let in. And then they lose their head coach and their best player, by the way, both named DeVries. Darian, the coach, Tucker, the player. This was what Drake went through last year. However, there's a little bit more under the surface. Some of the internet sleuths have put two and two together and done a little mapping for us and realized that, hey, check this out. West Virginia, Indiana, they were both in the Bahamas for a tournament in November, December. And then very shortly after that, Mike Woodson announced that he will not be returning at Indiana. And then to kind of continue it, and we didn't know about it till now, but Tucker DeVries, the best player for West Virginia and probably going to be the best player for Indiana next year, hurts himself after 8 games. And why is that relevant? Well, the threshold for a red shirt is 9 games. If you play in 9 games, you are not eligible for a red shirt. 8 is 1 less than 9 for all of us less than math savvy people out there. So there are a lot of people that are doing the inquisitor face, wondering, is there more on the surface? But Raider Jim, your thoughts overall on the coaching carousel as we kind of see. And then one final thing, Villanova job still hasn't been taken, but I think most people believe that is just until Maryland is eliminated. And then Kevin Willard will go there. That's just what most people are saying. But Raider Jim, your thoughts on the coaching carousel as of now?
Yeah, I think I said it last week. I'm sure there are people already scripting the next ESPN 30 for 30 to go over all the underhandedness that's taking place. And as I said to you before you hit record, it's just become so blatant now. Everything. It's just, does it take a little bit off the game? I think it can, and I think it will more and more as the seasons pass. This thing with the DeVries deal, that is just, wow. That is hard to believe that people can sit there and smirk and go, what? There's nothing going on here. I just recently rewatched, because it's something that I will watch, every now and then when I just have a couple extra hours. I watched Pony Excess about Southern Methodist University, the Eric Dickerson days, and all the trouble they got into, and all the, you're paying the players, you're doing this, it's illegal. Wow. It truly was. And they did deserve to be punished. to the extent that the NCAA wanted to punish them. But it's like this has become the Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
There are no more rules. How are these kids supposed to commit, or how could there be an expectation for an athlete to commit when the coaches can't commit?
Exactly.
I mean, Coach McCollum, you and I were both saying what a great guy he is, and he is a great guy, and he is a great coach. He sat in somebody's living room, though, 14 months ago and said, best thing you can do is have your kid come play basketball for me at Drake. I won't be there the next year, but send him to Drake. Is Ben Sturtz going to stay around, or is he going to go now? It's those types of things. And so very, very interesting. There is another one that flashed up. I don't know if you saw it or not. Sean Miller going to Texas.
Thank you. That was a very weird one because and then this is more just like the universe acting in weird ways rather than nefarious actions. This was
right.
Because I didn't realize Rodney Terry got fired until I saw that Sean Miller got hired, because I went, hold on a second. And then you dive a little deeper and it's like, oh, wait, Xavier eliminated Texas and Sean Miller. So Xavier's over here like, yeah, we win the play-in game. And Texas is like, cool, congratulations, go enjoy Iowa State. We're going to take your coach. But yeah, that was an interesting one. Sean Miller back into that. And the Will Wade situation, obviously Will Wade, you want to talk about, of all the kind of dark clouds that we have around sports, Will Wade's very similar to the kind of Pete Carroll, of the kind of somewhat underhanded tactics of recruiting and stuff like that. And if I'm being completely honest, some of the things that we see coaches and athletes doing that are actually illegal, like in a court of law, like you go to jail for these things if you don't have millions of dollars. You compare that to, okay, Will Wade might have done some things at LSU. I don't know. And then the way he handled the NC State, I mean, he said, I'm going to NC State before McNeese State played. And it didn't matter. They went out and got the job done. Unfortunately, it did end in the round of 32. But in an odd sort of way, I kind of respect the way Will Wade did it and said, yeah, I am going. Because it's difficult for me, I've said it multiple times, as someone who is a believer in the free market, if you provide a service, someone is going to pay you for it. And if someone is going to pay you more for that same service, you have to go, like, you know what I mean? Like, for your family's sake, and obviously there are limits, $1 billion versus $1 billion and 1,000. Okay, well, maybe that's not the case. But the difference between a Drake salary and an Iowa salary is going to be significant. And similarly to the NIL side of things, if you're a kid at one of these schools and Duke or Kentucky come a calling and they say, look, we need a bench player. You can maybe stay at Iona, you can stay at Monmouth, and you can start and you can make your $25,000 NIL, whatever it is, or you can come here, be on the bench, and we'll pay $1 million for it. Again, like, it's difficult. As a sports fan, I go, no, stay all 4 years. But also as a human being, someone that has to pay bills. And, so my thing, and I think you would probably agree, and I think most would agree, there needs to be rules in place. The problem is the entity that has been tasked with putting the rules in place are corrupt, all right? That at the very least, the NCAA does some nefarious things with the money and the way things happen, and that's the problem. Unfortunately, I believe the only way you do this is if you get out of the NCAA and you turn this into a Alabama University almost like a club team, and these kids are signing actual contracts. And we are going to talk NIL probably next week, just because we are going to probably have to fill in some time, and we'll get deeper into this. But we saw it in football, and now we're seeing it in basketball. The transfer portal opened 24 hours ago. There are 16 teams still playing for a national championship. Yeah. Scottie Pippen's son has already told Michigan, good luck in wherever they're going to go. I don't know. I don't have their bracket or their location in front of me, but I'm going to the transfer portal. Y'all are on your own. And at the same time, if you are, I forget Pippen's name, it escapes me, but if you do have to get in early, like, again, like, you could sit there and be like, oh, you're leaving your team. But at the same time, some of these kids, they have 4 years to monetize their talents on the basketball court. I don't know. It's very, very difficult. I just think there needs to be rules that go into place and actual consequences for breaking those rules. Hopefully very soon we get those. But a casualty, I don't know if you saw this, Raider Jim. This actually was up on my homepage when St. Peter's of Pennsylvania, who played in the play-in game, was a fantastic, might have been the best game, was Alabama State, St. Peter's of Pennsylvania. They are moving all the way down to Division III athletics.
Wow.
And the part, or the reason was NIL. We cannot compete at NIL. And at that point, you do wonder if, because this is a tournament team, and they were under 500, but still, a lot of exposure the other night. Probably more money they made the other night than they have in the first 3 months of the year. So really, really sad to kind of see that. And I mean, as we do kind of shift our focus now into the actual games, we talked about kind of the lack of madness. I think there was some madness, maybe not madness, let's call it chaos, but definitely what we are missing is Cinderella. Because if you want to sit here and tell me that John Calipari and a Power 5 seed is your Cinderella,
right? Okay.
If that's how you want to do it, I might want to. I mean, I think Michigan would probably be a closer Cinderella than Arkansas, but okay. But anyways, and there have been a lot of talk of wondering, is the day of Cinderella over? I think that's an overreaction. I really do. It's 1 year. It's not ideal, but there are problems. I just don't know if it's that to the point where we'll never see a mid-major in the Sweet 16. I think that's a bit dramatic.